So I'm getting the last of the stands on, and then this will go straight on the car and we can get to the light testing. What is going on, guys? It's Toby here, and today we're gonna go ahead and modify my ZL1 wing and put a F1 style brake light on the back. So in order to do this, obviously we're gonna have to take off the wing, and basically I installed this wing with Gino, but we have like 10mm nuts in here on a bolt, and then basically the wing will just drop out. Before I got these bolts out, so the wing's actually falling out on this side. Definitely used a wrench, a 10mm on this bolt inside, because it's like kind of where the third brake light is. The car literally looks naked right now, but as you can see, I ripped the wing off, and I was like trying to film it real nice and slow so I could get it on camera, but that thing just ripped off. Oops, I almost just kicked it on the floor. Yeah, I literally can't wait to move into my own house so I don't have to deal with this crap anymore of going up and down in the elevator. But yeah, it's a pain in the butt. I'm also gonna go ahead and remove this support because I think this is where I'm gonna run the wires through the stud. So I'm probably gonna have to drill through this too. Sitting on the floor right now with the LED light bar. So if anybody's interested in picking this up, it's called Mega Racer LED Tailgate Light Bar. You can buy it off of Amazon, exactly where I got it. And then you have the strip in here. So I'm pretty sure this is like, how many inches did it say? 48 inches, which is almost the size of this wing. All right, here's my plan. This LED strip is super fat. It's very long. So I'm gonna take a ruler and measure out about 3 inches from the end of the wing right here, and then mark it off with a Sharpie. I don't know if I can do it right now, but basically that's gonna let me know where I wanna put the strip, and then I'm gonna grab the Dremel and start dremeling out the inside so that the strip is hidden during the day. You can't see it. All right, 3 inches is about here. It doesn't need to be exact, because it can be a little bit off. You're not gonna be able to tell. What I went ahead and did was took some extra 3M tape and I laid the actual light strip on the wing to get a general idea of the path. So what I'm gonna do next is take some masking tape and just go on the edges there so I know exactly where I need to Dremel to make this fit seamlessly. That's what it looks like in end when I masked off everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this and then grab the Dremel and we'll go to town. So obviously the blue is on the outside of where the strip is gonna be, and I just need to go in there and carve this in. It's actually pretty thick. I'd say probably about 1 inch thick. I hope nobody messed with my trusty Dremel. I hope every bit is still in here. Yeah, we might be in luck. I need Xander to come back, or like Gino, or someone to help me film. But I'm gonna get to Dremeling now. This is not a proper mask for using a Dremel, but it's better than nothing. I have no clue where my filtered ones went. So we're gonna send it. Come on, man. All right, so I tried to time lapse a little bit, but the camera is just keeps falling off the stand because it's way too windy. I'm using the TikTok light. And good thing here is that the wing is actually hollow, so we're not gonna have to Dremel that much, actually. General idea of how it's gonna work. I think I'm pissing everyone off at the apartment though, because this Dremel is very loud. Jeez. And I have dust all over my fingers right now, but like once I get it completely done, which is a lot more, I've only done a small percentage. But once I do a lot more, it'll be completely hidden in there like that. I think I'm gonna have to pick up the project tomorrow because everyone's home right now. It's like 6 p.m. or 5:30, and everyone got home from work. So my mom was coming up the elevator and she's like, "What's that grinding noise?" And it was me going away with the Dremel. She could hear it all the way in the elevator. So I'm gonna stop before I get a complaint. We'll pick it up tomorrow, and I'm definitely repainting the entire wing once it's all said and done, because I'm just gonna smooth this out and then stick the light bar in there. It'll look sick. Midday now, the next day, and we're gonna get cracking on doing this wing. I had to pick up some earphones, like from my gaming setup, because I'm not trying to damage my hearing anymore.
Please don't talk about me when I'm gone. Oh honey, though our friendship ceases from now on. Please don't talk about me when I'm gone. Oh honey, though our friendship ceases from now on.
So basically I'm doing that to clean up the jagged edges so that when I repaint the entire spoiler, it's not gonna look stupid. I really went in there with that Dremel for another 2 hours and I cleaned up the jagged edges. So everything is very smooth now. And when I apply paint again, when I'm repainting the entire spoiler, everything will look nice and flat because I really put in the time and effort to sand everything down. Hey fellas, so I shoved the light bar inside the spoiler. This is kind of what it's gonna look like. So, like I said, I gotta repaint the entire spoiler. I am most definitely gonna epoxy resin on top to cover up the hole so it'll be as seamless as possible, and then paint. Actually using tinted epoxy resin, but we're gonna pick up this job tomorrow when we get to it. So the goal is to have the epoxy resin where the light is coming through to be completely not visible during the day with a black tint on it later, but we can finally continue work on the wing because I was suggested by my buddy to use an LED diffuser on the wing. So we're not going to be using as much epoxy resin as I originally thought we were, but I'm going to show you guys what these LED diffusers do. So regularly you have your normal LED lights. You can see the LED squares, each individual one, but if you put a diffuser to it, it diffuses the light and makes it look a lot better. All right, I put the camera down. You guys probably can't see me, but I'm gonna go ahead and drill through this section right here to run the wires for the LED light strip. Actually, you know what? This might be the better option. Currently pulling those wires through that I drilled a hole for, but I've devised a system that makes it really easy to get it through the hole. So you just tie a knot onto one of the wires that are already fed through, and then you kind of just pull the other wire through, and it should pull it all the way to the hole. Now I'm putting in these LED diffusers here, so I kind of put some super glue so it would hold it in place. And then once these diffusers are like set and dry in, which I have to finish up some more, and I totally forgot to mention, but you can see my LED bar right there. I shoved it back in there, but once that's all set and dry, what I'm gonna do is epoxy resin, close up the hole, and then repaint. I ended up redoing some of the diffusers because I tested the light last night, and I didn't really like how the light was showing through. So I cut it all up, as you can see right there. We laid new super glue, and now we can test it again. So then I'll power it on just like this, and we'll send all 12 volts to the LED light strip. So there you go. That's what it looks like. This is the function for when the car goes into reverse. So I made the LED light strips very nice and even, as you can see right there, and the diffusers are doing their job with diffusing the light, so you can't really see the LED bars until you get very, very close. That's when you can see them. That's gonna look insane on the back of the car. I mean, that's crazy that I did this, and I actually followed through with it, and it's turning out really nice. Now it's officially time for some epoxy resin. So we have resin right here, which is A, and then this is actually your hardener. So we're gonna get to mixing these two. Make sure to wear the proper mask and stuff like that. So you need one with like a filter in it, because epoxy resin is very volatile. So you need to use something like this. Performance respirator with 2 filters on the side. You're also gonna need some sort of mixing cup or medium to mix the resin and hardener together. Now you're gonna pour a ratio of 1:1. So this cup has a 1:1 ratio shown on it. So if I pour resin to the 1 line, then I'm gonna pour the hardener to number 2. Also gonna be using this acrylic paint to tint the resin slightly. So we're gonna pour in a very small amount into the cup once I mix the resin and hardener. Then I'm gonna grab the drill and mix it up.
That might be too dark, I'm not gonna lie. And I hope you guys can hear me through here without wind noise, but you want to mix the resin very slowly. If you go too fast, you're gonna literally cause a bunch of air bubbles.
Send me, darling, you. Send me, I know you. Send me, darling, you. Send me, I know you.
I poured in the epoxy resin in the holes. It's still seeping in because these holes kind of go deep. And I'm just gonna keep pouring and pouring and pouring until it fills all the way up. I laid that first layer of resin, and supposedly I need to wait about 3 to 4 hours to let it to dry to like a somewhat gel-like state, and then from there I can add another layer. But here's the thing, my tint really didn't work. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. We gotta come up with a different alternative. This morning I grinded out another layer of epoxy resin, but I also tested out the LED lights last night and I got the red to function. So it was really sick. It looked like Kylo Ren's lightsaber. I'll put a picture of it or a video of it too on the left-hand corner of the screen. So I'm really happy with how it looks. The only thing that I'm dealing with right now are the bigger holes that are not being filled by epoxy resin because they're just dripping down into the wing.
I just applied that JB Weld Up, so you just squeeze it out and it comes out in equal amounts, and now you have to mix it. We're applying this and covering up all these big holes, and that'll get the job done.
There goes the extent of me plugging up the holes with that JB Weld. So I'm just gonna wait 24 more hours to sand this whole wing down, and then I'll prep it for paint. Now I'm here at my apartment in Gainesville, and we continued work on the wing. I had Liram, or my stepdad, ship it to me. So, as you saw in the time lapse, we're sanding it down, and it should be ready for paint once I get everything sanded down. This is a pretty extensive process though. You literally want to go crazy on the entire wing, smoothing out all the resin, like the excess resin that's on the sides, so everything should be like smooth to the touch, if that makes sense. And you can see I did exactly that. So I went across the entire wing. If you look on the back side, and no, I'm not gonna flip it right now, you can see the same thing there too. I'm here with this racer, Stephanie's car, and we're gonna test the light strip one more time before I paint it, just to make sure everything looks okay. That gives you a general idea. So where you see this JB Weld, I'm not having that show. I'm gonna cut off the, this is all gonna be solidly painted, and then that rest here, so it's gonna be like from here on. That's what it'll look like when you turn on the turn signal. And then when you hit the brake, it'll go solid red like that. What the is that? 1000 grit sandpaper is literally the same exact process for everything else. So I just took it, it smoothed out the epoxy resin real nice, and I'd say that this thing is ready for paint. Oh, that's sick. Yeah, I've seen this on TikTok.
But yeah, so I did that, and I also have it where I can change the modes as well.
Look at this tint, man. It is like pitch black in the broad daylight.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And you so it's layered tint?
Yeah.
What percentage?
2 layers, 15 and 5 on the sides, and 50 and 5 on the windshield.
It is completely murdered out. I actually have those same tires on my Mustang.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are my street tires.
I want to change them because they start.
They don't hook, bro.
Yeah, they don't hook, and I'm in a.
So I'm having my buddy paint the wing because he does professional body work and repair. Yeah, right there. So we'll plug that real quick. He's gonna do the professional painting on the wing right here. That's some of his work. So that's for his bags, the air thing. I don't really know how bags work, but yeah. And he painted that, so he's gonna get us right with this ZL1 wing. He's gonna do the professional job. Oh, that is sick. All right, that's pretty cool. Guess I won't be using my regular paint and primer, my satin clear, and the black paint because obviously Cam is gonna do a better job with his professional paint booth. So we'll have to use that for another project, possibly for fixing up the curb rash on the Camaro that Jino did. So here is the finished result. There's the wing. That's the tinted portion, obviously, and it's looking absolutely fantastic. Now, obviously, it's not going to be flawless because this was a DIY job. You guys can see some of that leftover epoxy resin. Now, the biggest regret that I had was actually having this thing shipped to me when the resin wasn't 100% cured. Because what ended up happening was the box actually melted in some of the cardboard into the resin and it messed it up. So we had a quick timeline. I needed to get this thing done and I couldn't redo all the resin, but it is what it is. Nonetheless, if you look at the wing from like 5 feet away, you can't really see it. And during the day, that tinted light strip is going to do a fantastic job. So I'm gonna mount up the wing right now. So I'm getting the last of the stands on and then this will go straight on the car and we can get to the light testing. So we've got it all wired back up, but the only issue I'm seeing here is that the tint really killed the brightness of the light bar. So it's not like 100%. Yeah, I don't know. It's not bright enough for me anymore. The white is plenty bright, but the red isn't. So the white is just fine. Like, it looks good to me. But I'm thinking that red is too, it's not bright enough. What do you think?
I think he needs to go with the lighter tint percentage.
Just wanted to show the turn signal too. Go ahead and clamp it. Oh, there you go. So I mean, that's cool. Half of the wing shows the yellow and then you get the sequential on the other side. But honestly, I think it's too dark. I'm gonna tell him to strip it and then try and make that lighter. So before I redo that tint, I wanted to show what the wing looks like right now. I mean, the white is perfect, like we said before, but the problem arises when you try and go red. It is just way too freaking dark. So it looks good right now. You know, hypothetically speaking, if the red was like this, I would be perfectly fine with it, but it's not. This is what peeling back that clear looks like. So the tint all needs to come off. Oh, you got a big chunk out there? Yeah. That's how it started chipping to begin with over here. I mean, we had a chunk of it come off right here. I just peeled it back anyways, and that's 50-50. So the tint is in fact way too dark. It really takes away from the effect of having that LED bar there. And there's the difference between the tinted and untinted. So yeah, I'm definitely going way lighter on the tint. Yeah, that looks way better. That's completely removed. This white is about to be 3 times brighter. I wish the red was as bright as that. This is the turn signal now. So y'all saw that, that was pretty sick. Do it again, Evan. That's insane. And then one more time with the that turn signal. Wow. Wow. So on that note, we're pretty much gonna close up this video. I would explain the painting process, but I think it's just easier to do that in a separate one when I fix up the wing in entirety. I might do it myself. I haven't decided yet because Cameron isn't gonna be available for a good bit. So yeah, actually I'll do it myself and explain the painting process so we can pick up on that tutorial aspect of making this wing. And we're gonna end this video here because it's way too freaking long. So if you guys enjoyed it, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.